For decades now, far too many black folks have been embarrassing themselves, perpetuating an unfounded, self-destructive assertion, the longest-running delusion in the black community, that we hold some type of valid ownership claim to the N-word.
That's my word!
That, at some point in history, a point that no one can identify, we became the rightful guardians of arguably the most demeaning and derogatory term in the history of mankind. But for some inexplicable reason, instead of retiring it or using our collective influence to banish it from the culture, we did the opposite.
What you talking about?
We took a vote and decided to embrace it as a group. We concluded that it would be far more beneficial to the community to parade and promote the word publicly, and to discount its extensive diabolical history. To circulate and proliferate the word farther and wider than our ancestors could have possibly fathomed is a much better strategy if you think about it. By doing this, we take control of the word. We take away its power of degradation.
What the hell did you just say?
We recycle it, override its previous definition and despicable history, and assign it a new meaning. Simple.
No, 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 hell no!
Leading and defending any attachment to the N-word simply ensures that it gets passed down from generation to generation and continues to anchor a foundation of white supremacy and self-hate, which is perfect if meritorious manumission is your thing. Not familiar with meritorious manumission? Well, allow me to enlighten you. About 90 years into America's institution of slavery, there was legislation passed in Virginia titled the Meritorious Manumission Act of 1710, which later became the model for other slaveholding states. It established the means by which a slave could earn his or her freedom by the performance of good deeds. These good deeds consisted of 1. Saving the slave owner's life or his property. 2. Inventing something that the slave owner could profit from. 3. Informing the slave owner about other slaves who were planning a rebellion or an escape. The purpose of the Meritorious Manumission Act was to provide a great incentive for slaves to work selfishly against other slaves, against the collective, in favor of the very institution that was oppressing them. Contrary to what they teach and omit in school, slave rebellions were quite common. So slave owners were constantly seeking new remedies to prevent them. Meritorious manumission rewarded slaves that upheld the system of white supremacy, upheld the status quo. Freedom, position, money, it was all there for those that helped to keep the program intact. Still is, honestly.
So when I count to 3, I want everybody in the audience to scream something. And I give you the count, okay? Everybody scream, nigga.
150 years went by under that incentive program. It was formally enacted in 1710 and ended with chattel slavery in 1863. If you consider the fact that people go through years of therapy after a brief traumatic event, imagine living through decades, generations of trauma, and then being released out into a hostile world. In America that had not reconciled and accepted your freedom, your citizenship, or your humanity. As descendants of African slaves, we are a living testament to the physical, mental, and spiritual perseverance of the world's first people, and we have their strength within us. But many of us have also inherited generational trauma, or more specifically, the conditioned behaviors and perspective that are born out of generational trauma. Call it PTSD on steroids. If you're one of the descendants running around referring to yourself and other black people as a, ask yourself, who did you pick that up from? And who did they pick it up from? And so on. Contact trace it, like COVID-19. If you go back far enough, you will find trauma at the source of origin. Ask yourself, who does it really serve to use the word? Because it's certainly not you or the person that you're referring to. And what does it truly serve to use the word? Aside from aiding the oppression of black people.
He gonna stay in the big house?
The unchecked use and popularity of the N-word is a huge issue. One that cannot possibly be fully addressed in one short video, but it can't be ignored any longer either, at least not by me. So, you can expect to see this topic revisited, because it has to be. Words are important. How you speak to others and how you speak about others that are reflections of you is important. You can't fool your subconscious. If you know the true meaning of the N-word, and we all do, then that meaning is sitting in your subconscious. Every time you use that word to address someone that looks like you, you're playing yourself. And worse, you're helping to play the rest of us, which is the true purpose of that word.
Think about it.
Anyways, that's it for me on this one. You can let me know what you think about the use of that word down in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.